believe it or not, for being the largest stadium in North America, we have never taken a trip in the 2KU to the Big House. We're going to change that tonight as Michigan, the #1 team in the country, takes on Iowa, who is number 22, fresh off a huge upset over an unbeaten Penn State. Do the Hawkeyes have it in them to pull off another top 5 upset? This is the first of 2 games we have on the docket for tonight. As here you see the Wolverine players in a rare night game for U of M. The Wolverines will get us started first.
Bringing it out, it's Morris. He'll be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there.
And here comes the Wolverines, Tyrell Thomas at QB for the Wolverines.
#1 in the nation, Wolverines.
#1 team in the country. He's currently a favorite for the Heisman Trophy. And he's proven it. Why here? Oh, but he can't hang on.
Right in his arms.
Made the connection, but the receiver couldn't hang on after the hit. 2nd and 10 now.
Second down play coming up. And the back gets the football. But the gain is just 1 yard. Sets up a 3rd and 9.
Handoff gets about a yard. So now comes 3rd and 9.
Not going to be easy here. Backed up a long way to go for a first down. Dropping back. It's Orgy.
Thomas still in the pocket. He'll roll. He'll throw it. Has a man open with room to work.
And a lot more.
The first completion of the day for Thomas. First down.
The defense is spread all over the field, creating some one-on-one matchups, and the quarterback makes them pay for it.
The Wolverines starting a new series here on 1st and 10. There's the snap. Looking to throw the ball.
Going to air it to the right sideline. This one's caught for another first down.
They bring him down, but the junior quarterback showing off the cannon.
Well, Chris, you watch a completion like that, and with the efficiency, it makes you kind of think back to all the quarterbacks and receivers.
Good catch on the sideline.
This easy. Of course, you start with Tom Brady, but
And as I was mentioning before in previous 2KU moments, this is really the product of if you let a good developing talent shine. And unfortunately, there's an injury on the field. Our first injury time out of the game. As now Michigan comes out. Second and 3. Got the first down and more, weaving to the 10.
this is what coaches love to see. A quarterback with the ability to read the defense properly and then just get it to the open man. Sometimes it sounds simple, but it's tough to execute. This time we have good recognition by the quarterback. Then he gets it down to the tight end. You can see what he can do after the catch.
The Wolverines trying to cash in here in the red zone.
On the handoff. A short gain there as we're getting breaking news now out of Big Ten circles. This is concerning one of Michigan's chief rivals. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are announcing their leave of the Big Ten at the end of the 2024 academic year, which will be in June of next season. The Fighting Irish had been a member of the Big Ten since 2011, as there's a touchdown, Michigan. The first of the day.
So is this a football-only move, or is this going to be in all sports?
This is, for now, a football-only move. They plan to remain a Big Ten member in other sports. But that will mean that the Big Ten will now have 12 football members. There have been rumors about them potentially looking to either the Big 12 or the Big East for future membership.
So they'll try to add to the lead now with the
Currently, the two teams that the Big Ten would be connected with are the likes of Pitt and or teams like Pitt and Rutgers. Of course, if you go way back, one of the Big Ten's first attempts at expansion was to get Pittsburgh. Pitt's a team on the docket. One of the most successful teams in recent years. Rutgers, West Virginia, in conversation as well to join alongside Pitt.
And this has been a 2KU breaking news.
And we have more updates coming soon through our doubleheader tonight. A lot has happened in the past few days.
This crowd is fired up. Listen to this noise here. This is going to be tough for the visitors today.
On the pitch, they read right through it.
For a loss of 5 yards.
Well, the backside rules for a defense against the run are to check for the cutback, the counter, or a reverse. That time they stayed home and were in perfect position. They were able to stop that reverse in its track.
And wow, listen to this crowd noise. This stadium is
It's getting loud in the big house.
visitors to play.
Gonna air it up
He
there,
weaves it and
swat it
almost
down.
pegged.
Complete. The defensive pressure hurried to throw that time.
It's pretty simple as a defensive coordinator.
And here's an Iowa team who is vastly performing above expectations. This is a team that's expected to be in the middle of the pack, probably near the back. And here they are, with a very real chance to win the Big Ten Conference and play in the Rose Bowl. Oh, this one's picked off! And he's got a lane! It's gonna be a pick six, Michigan!
Touchdown, Wolverines. Wow, what a play, a defensive score. Well, the takeaway and the touchdown, that is just a dream play for any defender, Kurt.
Well, let's start with the interception. I just love the fact that he got his eyes turned around, found the football, and then has the athletic ability to be able to secure it.
And the over 100,000 approve.
And shows you what he can do with the ball in his hands and takes it all the way back for a touchdown. Beautiful thing.
What a way to make a statement to start this game out.
For the extra point. With the extra point,
And it's right through.
is 14. Getting set to kick the ball off now. Return starts from inside the 5. Makes it to the 16. That's good
Stop
stuff.
the 16 as in comes Iowa.
Offense is back out on
Got to recover after that pick.
It'll be interesting to see if this quarterback can bounce back. He threw a pick 6 in the last possession. The back's got it.
And they'll rely on the run game.
Down quickly.
Hey, listen, you don't always have to have big plays to be successful. It's a nice, solid game here. Keeps you on schedule, and you get ready for that next play.
2nd and 7's coming up.
Down after that run on the previous play.
Notre Dame plans to elaborate. They left the Big Ten to become football independent. I could see several reasons as to why they want to do that. Notre Dame, year in and year out, is considered one of the better. It's considered as one of the potential better teams in the Big Ten, and yet they seem to always underdeliver. It feels like they keep getting caught in the wave that is the Big Ten. They keep getting caught up with the Michigans and the Penn States, the Ohio States, the Wisconsins.
Back to throw. It's McNamara.
They always are in between that. There's a first down.
It is complete. What a grab by the receiver
The
right near the sideline.
the Fighting Irish, I believe, are now 4-5, following their loss to Wisconsin.
Here's that defense shifting again. The Hawkeyes looking to crank up the tempo a bit.
They have 2 more conference games on the schedule, and then they, of course, end their year with USC. I could also see scheduling freedom
Hand it off.
as to why they'd want to do it.
You make the stop, but not before a solid gain that time.
Nothing better than an offense on first down to be able to pick up big positive yards like that. You can either keep giving it to the back, or it can set up play action and get the defense to come up to the line of scrimmage, and you can throw it over top of it.
And the Hawkeyes will have 1st and 10.
Either way, it's just clear that Notre Dame was not happy as a Big Ten member. It was not what they wanted it to be.
Using the ground game here.
As there's a run for Iowa around the corner for a gain of 8. A minute left in the quarter.
When you can get good chunks
I think there's an injury on the field.
it just keeps you on schedule, leading to more manageable third down situations. Never underestimate
Or not.
the value of consistently getting 4 or more yards a pop like that.
2nd down after that run on the previous play.
Iowa and Michigan territory now.
Play action fake. Looking to throw.
Going to play action. Has a man open at the 20. Or the 30 down to 27.
Quickly, but the yardage is good enough for the 1st down.
Chris, we get so caught up in these wide receivers and their playmaking ability and getting them the ball in space. And like the defense has to pay attention to them. Often too much attention opens up an underneath drag route like this, and quarterback makes a good read. Nice 1st down.
The offense will line up. Chance for a couple more plays before the end of the quarter.
About 12 seconds to go. The pressure's coming. He'll throw it. Incomplete.
Defender gets a hand in there to break the pass up.
Well, this is just an outstanding job by this defender being in phase against this receiver and being able to tip that ball.
2nd down now coming up.
Tips it up into the air.
As that woman is wearing a very weird Michigan shirt. I believe it's made out of paper.
Play coming up for this offense. Looking to throw. It's McNamara.
All day to throw it.
It's a short
The slot receiver will get 3. Or will get within 3. And that'll be the end of the 1st quarter.
job done. So Kirk, Michigan
After one, Michigan out to a strong start, 14-0.
the lead is starting to mount. Let's take a quick look at the 1st quarter stats before we move on. We'll see if this game gets out of hand before halftime. The crucial 2nd quarter beginning right now.
And this crowd's getting loud. One of the toughest places to play in the nation, let alone the world.
It's a handoff. And he's brought down, but not before
As there's a 1st down.
yardage.
Well, good push up front here in this back. I tell you, he's got some outstanding vision to be able to find those creases, to be able to get positive yards, and here he gets the 1st down.
Fresh set of downs for the offense. 1st down. Single back takes the hand.
And he's stopped.
Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 2. Well, the play is just blown up by the big fella in the middle.
That'll bring up 2nd and 12.
And we know about his power.
And right now,
His ability to penetrate there. That's the quickest way to
off stream, we saw Texas A&M go down. Or we saw Oklahoma go down to Texas A&M. So right now, the only undefeated power teams are Michigan and Utah.
They try the middle, but gain nothing on that play.
That's a great play all around by this defense. Their 1st level defenders hold their own at the point of attack, allowing the 2nd and 3rd level players to roam free and make the tackle close to the line of scrimmage.
And here comes the noise.
Those have been consensus of the top 2 teams ever since Utah beat Oregon.
To make a big red zone stop. Dropping back, we're going to throw for the 1st
Let's
down.
see if they can capitalize on here. What a big sack! Throwing a 4th and 25.
Great call here going with that nickel defense, giving you more speed on the field on that 3rd down and long. Nowhere to go. Gave the defensive line plenty of time to come up with that sack. Now it's 4th down and long.
You see him bulldoze the offensive lineman and bring him down. Iowa and Michigan have 2 of the best O-lines in the country, as Iowa will likely send on the field goal unit.
So on 4th down, the decision is to trot out the field goal team.
This one from 47. Kick is on the way. No!
Is no good. Still
And this game remains 14-0.
That's a missed opportunity for some points here. The way they were moving the football, I thought maybe a touchdown at the very least. 3 points, but instead...
Just hooks outside.
And the Michigan offense back out on the field. The last possession was a passing game clinic. They moved it right down for a touchdown. Can they keep it going?
On 1st and 10, the short lob to the tight end will get 5.
What's the play call here on 2nd down for this offense?
You have to go back to 2011 for the last time Michigan won a national championship.
Catch made down the left side, an explosive play. And a big game before he goes out of bounds. The offense keeps.
So the Wolverines have remained a consistent Big Ten contender pretty much year in and year out in the championship era, or in the Big Ten's championship era. Though they haven't played in the Big Ten championship game since 2021. They lost to Indiana that year.
Shotgun formation. Here's an inside handoff. Only a small game. Now looking at 2nd and 9.
Well, I have some breaking 2KU news of my own.
Breaking news.
We have our first conference championship clinch.
Offense with some pre-snap motion.
All right.
Coming out of the Conference USA, it is Rice who has officially clinched a spot.
I believe Arkansas State is also clinched. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope, since South Alabama won, they're still also in the running. So that game, the second to last week before the season, will determine the West Division. Unless Arkansas State wins and South Alabama loses.
Looking for some space. It's Edwards.
Ark State controls their own destiny in the Sun Belt, but Rice is the first to clinch a conference championship appearance. The Owls are 9-0, I want to say.
They're 9-0, 6-0 in conference.
Offense showing a bunch formation now.
Their final 2 games includes against Marshall and Youngstown State, and then an out-of-conference game against North Texas.
They look to be favored in all those games. The Rice Owls are currently the #1 non-power team in the country.
Locked into his primary, tried to force it in there, and it doesn't work out.
3rd down here. Time for perhaps one more play before the.
As that could work for the Sun Belt is if Arkansas State lose their final 2 and South Alabama is one of those losses. South Alabama
Gonna
can
flip
make
it
in.
up there, dropped.
Incomplete. Brings up 4th down.
With 3rd down and short, they decide to throw the football, roll the dice a bit, doesn't work out. Now you're at 4th and short.
The Iowa Hawkeyes had their first loss of the season against Ohio State a few weeks back.
Coach is going to take the 3 points. Here comes the field goal.
Go for
Field goal unit on the way, and it's good.
Showing off the deep range.
17-0 lead.
And they'll make the gap 3 scores with that one. Is that a 47-yarder? And the Michigan fans do not approve.
I think they wanted more points.
Or are those the Iowa fans? I can't tell. Whoa!
They're both yellow.
2-minute warning with a big hit. End it off.
Can Iowa gain on the board?
Good catch on that one, but that's a first down.
Not much after the catch, but it is good enough for a first down.
Well, it's got to start somewhere, and there's a nice first down to keep this drive alive and hope to be able to create a little bit of momentum here near the end of the first half, trying to cut into this lead and get some points on the board.
The Hawkeyes hustle to the line to crank up the tempo.
100 seconds in the half. The pressure's coming. He's sacked. Leave it to that Michigan defensive line to hit him once again.
Quarterback slow on the recovery.
He's also holding the football with no fingers. Now you look at this Michigan team. You have strong quarterback play. You have a Heisman contender. On offense. A great offensive line. Oh, big play! As I was gonna say, this is the biggest play we might have seen all year for Iowa. Touchdown Hawkeyes.
This guy can do it all. We've seen him go behind coverage and make plays downfield. We can see him catch the ball underneath, just like this.
And it doesn't matter the score. Iowa's gonna play for this game.
After the catch, This one leads him into the end zone for the 6 points.
It's now not too far off reach.
It'll be a 10-point game with a point after.
Here comes the point after attempt.
Kick is up and it's good.
It's the up and good. They get a little bit closer. Now the kickoff team is out on the field.
Michigan will get it back.
Starts just inside the end zone.
And they'll have a minute or so to work before the half.
Trying to make a play, but a touchback would have been a better idea.
As I was saying, this team is looking awfully similar to that 2011 squad that won that national championship.
Floats this pass deep down the right
Incomplete on that one.
side. Incomplete. Took a downfield shot on first down, but missed it.
Most offensive coaches will be happy taking those 50-50 shots against man coverage, but I'm curious to see.
And there's the paper bag shirt again.
After that coverage.
Here's the second down play.
Get what you can to support your team, I suppose.
It's Orgy.
Going 5 wide again.
And this one is
He caught that?
Timeout.
So the offense calls a timeout here. That's
Surprisingly.
close to the half.
How about the arm strength from this quarterback? He really didn't have any other option than to put it right in there and give it everything that he had. Great timing and a good job of squeezing that in between the defenders.
Gonna flip it up short. Penn gets it again. Another first down.
The 30 good enough to move the sticks.
That's a great feeling when your quarterback can make a throw that keeps the drive alive.
I don't think there's any stadium that quite looks like
It's a lot better
Michigan
than
Stadium.
trot over to the sideline,
Besides
waiting for
Notre
the turn to
Dame.
get another chance.
Notre Dame has a similar
New
architecture.
series here, first and 10. There's the snap. They'll set up to
So
throw.
Another
like
short
they'll learn
throw.
that They're both made by the same architecture firm.
They stop the receiver, but that's a solid
Copycats.
play.
Quarterback looks down
They take a bit of time, but Michigan will call their second timeout here.
the ball to be able to pick up enough yards for a first down, but instead
They want more points to cushion this lead.
some positive yards.
Second
Hey,
down.
when you're the #1 team in the nation, you got to make a statement.
Certainly.
From the shotgun, drops back, looking for an open man.
Throwing short, he had a man open right next to him, but
And they wrap him up, but the game
they'll just get the quick yardage.
first down.
Wow, they get positive yards here, but you have a sense that they wanted a little bit more.
Look at this.
pitching
You have camera pan. Oh, no instant replay. Okay, now they'll call a timeout.
Here, that's their third.
I don't know if I would have called a timeout here. I probably would have saved it till you're in field goal range.
First and 10 now for the offense.
We'll see how it works out.
Quarterback drops back from the shotgun, looking for a receiver.
Time in the pocket, he'll just get rid of it.
Couldn't find anybody open and just has to throw it away.
With 16 seconds to go in the first half.
Second
Michigan's
down.
still in their own territory.
Scanning the field, it's Orgy. Breaks free.
Tries to evade the tackles, but he can't. And that will likely run out the clock. And at the end of the first half, we'll get to there eventually. Here's the sack again. He was trying to find somewhere available.
Minute's gonna wrap up.
There's the end of the first half.
Let's kick it now.
17-7. Michigan has the lead over Iowa. You see the logo? Iowa's logo is messed up on the screen.
As it is today in Ann Arbor. And it's been said football is a game of inches. And guess what? Based on the comparison between third down conversion rate today and the average yard per play, how can you argue that? I mean, the low-lying fruit is to look at some of the explosive plays we've seen in panic.
There's the one big touchdown for Iowa.
Each team is more efficient when they have the ball and how they play.
Just a laser downfield.
It's time to throw it back to
Here's
our
Michigan's
guys in the
first
booth to
touchdown.
start up the second half.
A running touchdown up the left side. They also had a pick six in the first quarter.
The Wolverines will kick this away to start the second half.
And here we go from the second half.
Second half has begun. Iowa
Turn it from near the goal line.
will get us started here.
Turn, they'll stop him at the 24.
And stay tuned. Up next, we have more Big Ten action for you. Number 6 Ohio State heading to Happy Valley to take on number 5 Penn State.
Is a handoff. That's a solid gain. Moves the ball to the 29.
I'll take that every single time. Offensive line does a nice job up front. This back's vision and ability to get positive yards by lowering his pads on full display right there.
And the Hawkeyes come to the line to run the hurry up.
Now there's a possibility where every one of these 4 teams is the number 1 in the Big Ten championship.
Oh, he's looking to throw.
He's gonna try throwing it, but that's going nowhere.
Little trickery play they tried doing, but Michigan was right on top.
Not with this defense. Michigan, of course, will be the number 1 if they win. Iowa will be number 1 if they win, and Penn State also wins. Ohio State needs
To throw for the first down.
a big play here from Iowa. That might be a sign.
Bring him down, but not before.
But if Iowa were to win, they need a big...
This offense through the air.
Iowa needs a win and a Penn State win. Ohio State needs a win and a Iowa win, since they would have tiebreaker over Iowa. Penn State would need to win and have Michigan lose. They're the only one who can't be first. They're the only one who can't be first directly this week, because Iowa would have tiebreaker over them even if Michigan were to lose.
The defender arrived the same time as the football, and now it's second down.
There are some other teams still in the talks, or in the conversation for the championship. Wisconsin is an outsider pick. Indiana and Michigan State both are on the outside looking in as well.
Offense getting set up. Here's second down.
Northwestern is now eliminated from the conversation with their loss this week to Minnesota. That's the Golden Gophers' first win of the year.
Win.
Here comes another 3rd and 12 for the Hawkeyes from midfield now.
Not changing at all. They've become one-dimensional, and I think it's allowed this defense to really lock in on that quarterback.
Drops back, needing a third down complete.
The pressure's coming. He's sacked.
He's sacked.
From the blind side, it's that defensive end once again.
You get more speed to be able to cover with those 5 defensive backs. It also allows that defensive line with that good coverage to get after the quarterback, as we see here.
The Hawkeyes will send their punt team onto the field. He's on to boot it away now.
Punts away. Michigan will let it bounce for a touchback.
Lands at the 6, but heads into the end zone for a touchdown.
Now, the thing about the Big Ten is they are the strongest conference this year, but they're also the power conference with the longest drought since their last national championship. They haven't won a natty since 2013. It's been 10 seasons. Coming on 11 here. Since their last team won it, it was Penn State who took that home.
Penn State almost won it last year.
Penn State did play were the last Big Ten team to also play in the national championship. They lost last second to Florida, whose SEC had the second longest drought.
Trying to flex the ground game here. Running back takes the handoff. And they'll stop him after a short gain.
So I don't think right now the SEC is really in the conversation for the national championship, as their teams have self-sabotaged. As both of the top 2 teams, Auburn and Tennessee, both lost this week to Florida and Ole Miss, respectively. This now makes the top 2,
It's Orgy.
either Auburn or Tennessee, in second, and Vanderbilt and Tulane are also in the conversation.
Picked off. They waste an opportunity for a much-needed takeaway, but it does set up fourth down.
And as I say that, Michigan has gone 3 and out.
Play there by the quarterback. Look at his facial expressions right now. He knows that he caught a break, trying to force the ball in there. He's going to have to
4th and 5.
moving forward, and work through his progressions to find his open man.
The punt's away.
They'll kick it away here.
And not really much to get on the return. They'll start at the 37-yard line.
The Hawkeyes offense is back out on the field.
I was back.
They came up empty on the last possession, forced to punt it away. And they begin to click now. Powering right past the defender. Stopped short of the marker after just a short gain.
And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we don't have the Big Ten championship.
Offense getting set. It's second down.
Because we can't play that game outside of
Off play action. He's looking to throw.
Dynasty mode, as that one's broken up.
There was a lot of contact. No penalty. Brings up third down. They come to the line, a long way to go for the first down, but needing this crucial conversion right now.
3rd down and 9, one back. Call the audible, move it. Move him to the right side. The pressure's coming. He's sacked again. The 4th today for the Wolverines.
I love this defense and how they're playing some man coverage. And let's face it, when you do that, it's a bit risky. You can leave your defensive backs out there on islands, but the good combination of good coverage with a good pressure on the quarterback, and you come up with sacks like this.
That's the 2nd sack today for the defensive end there. And that will force a 3 and out.
And the Hawkeyes will bring their punt team onto the field. It's a rough drive for the offense. Punter comes on and booted away. He'll call for the fair catch here. And the Michigan offense back out on the field. They're trying to build on their lead. They were forced to punt on the last possession. They'll try to pick up the
On 1st and 10, they hand it off.
The gain is 2
For a gain
yards,
of
so
2.
it's 2nd and 10.
With just over a minute to go, Michigan holds the 2-score lead, up 10. And Danny, while we have a moment, why don't you take us through how each of these top 4 Big Ten teams end their seasons?
And the defense able to hold him there to a short gain.
Danny here, hang on.
That run sets up a critical 3rd down play. Receiver in motion now. On 3rd down, he drops to throw.
On 3rd down, dropped.
Complete. The defender was right there, and it brings up 4th down now. And the Wolverines will have to kick this away when he comes for his 2nd punt of the game.
Another punt here for Michigan. To the 20, I'll get to the 25, down to the 31-yard line. And Iowa's last 2 drives have ended in 3 and outs. And they get something going here.
Takes the ball, tries the right side here. That run moves the ball across the 35.
Starting quietly with a gain of 4. Here's the end of the 3rd quarter here. Michigan, 17-7. And yeah, the logo is messed up.
Running out to cut into the lead. Let's take a look at the game sets before we move on.
You see that, yeah, it's a messed up Iowa logo.
See if this sets up
We saw that University of Michigan emblem.
for that run on the previous play.
University founded in 1817, predates the state's formation by 20 years.
Tackled at the 44, but good enough for a first down.
It's a nice completion there.
Now, we've had U of M before we've had Michigan,
For them. They've got to focus on putting points on the board right now
as we know it today. Of course, I've made it no secret that I am a Michigan native and a Michigan fan.
And the quarterback dropping back. He makes the grab.
Caught at the 45-yard line. That's the first down. Actually, the 43.
Throw by the senior quarterback.
And Iowa's back in Michigan territory.
Yards. You love to see that. Now
Last time they went here, they missed a field goal.
Trying not to give up the big plays, but down by a couple scores, you got to get a quick touchdown.
Does Iowa have another explosive play in them?
First down, looking to throw the ball.
Stepping back.
Catch made on the right side.
Right side grab for a gain of 8.
Brings up a 2nd and 2.
Well, defense didn't have any time at all to get pressure on the quarterback. He gets the ball out of his hands pretty quickly on the hitch to the receiver.
Important 2nd down play coming up.
2nd and 2 now.
Takes the handoff. It's Johnson.
He's gonna
And,
fight his way for the line. Not gonna get there. Welcome back, Danny.
How about this defense?
Well, you have the chance. You want to take us through how each of these Big Ten teams end their season?
Anything on the ground, and it's because of that
Yeah,
defensive
definitely.
line.
Let me just
Linebackers
pull
taking
that
over
up
the
real
game.
quick. All right, so for Iowa up first, they first started off the season 6-0, games against,
Looking to pick up the
and
first down.
at the time was looking like a good Notre Dame. They still have a really good win against Iowa State. Then they had their first loss due to bad clock management against Ohio State Week 8, but
And then their second loss
they
to
bounced
Ohio
back.
State due to clock management. We only counted the one.
Yeah. They play in Week 10 again, and that beat at that time number 2 Penn State at Penn State.
All right,
After
here's a
this game-
52-yarder on the way, and he got it.
Plenty of leg here, too.
Impressive. How far was that?
That was a 52-yarder.
Accomplishment. Now these guys knock these out like they're almost automatic.
Can't make it from like 20 yards, but he can make it from 52.
And now it's a 7-point game.
So after this game at Michigan, Iowa is on bye week. Then they go to Wisconsin, and then they host Nebraska.
The Hawkeyes only have one more conference game. They could lock I believe they lock a conference championship appearance with a win tonight.
Yep. And they could potentially lock another one at Wisconsin. They win there if a couple of things fall in their place. Michigan is still undefeated this season. They started off the season with wins against Washington and at Texas, 2 little MAC teams, and then they played their arch rivals Michigan State and Notre Dame. They beat Indiana, and
almost.
then they beat Illinois last weekend. After this game, they are going to Minnesota for the Little Brown Jug at Northwestern, and then hosting the big game, Ohio State, Michigan.
Not just any big
In
game,
Ann Arbor.
the game in Ann Arbor against Ohio State, who is up next. We'll talk about Penn State, Ohio State when they play coming up. 4 minutes to go in this one.
Looking to pass. It's Orgy.
Flipping up there
And this pass is
for a gain of 8. It's going to be 3rd and 2.
They bring down the receiver, but that's a nice gain on that play.
Chris, that's another nice pickup through the air. I thought they might be really just out the
Of course, we have some other conferences that almost have locks-ups.
We just had a
the ACC
big...
Atlantic will be determined next week as Wake Forest will host Clemson.
Handoff to the back. They'll keep the clock
Not for
moving.
first down.
He'll pick up the first down.
There's...
The Coastal has a little bit more.
Good call here by the offense to be able to pick up.
In the Coastal, Georgia Tech got a big win. North Carolina beat
Virginia Tech.
North Carolina beat Virginia Tech. Dave's show upset Duke, which knocks them a peg behind everybody else. But right now, the favorites to win the division and represent the Coastal are Georgia Tech. If I'm a betting man, Wake and Georgia Tech are the teams I'm seeing in the conference championship, which will be a huge accomplishment for how rough the season looked at the start for Georgia Tech to rebound as much as they have.
Second down.
I noticed in the Big 12 as well, BYU got a big win over Kansas. And how about Iowa State going from a projected bottom feeder to what's now to a team who's now holding on to tiebreakers in the division?
Just what a great battle here at the line of scrimmage. Good push by the offensive line.
An Iowa State Conference Championship appearance is very real.
So the clock stops as we head into the final 2
They're just
minutes of play here. This
really much 3 teams left in Iowa State's schedule, and all 3 of them could potentially knock Iowa State out of that race.
for a first down.
They are hosting Kansas, going to Oklahoma State, and then hosting Farmageddon against Kansas State.
Oh, big run here! This might be the exclamation point! All the way! Touchdown, Michigan!
Stopping and takes
And a gritty for extra.
Well, that's why you practice right there.
And a gritty just to send it home.
Game on their back.
Michigan
Deliver, they get a touch-
will go up 2 scores again.
It's a two-possession game with under 2 to go. Like their odds of closing this game out.
And that's the biggest offensive play we've seen from Michigan thus far. It's been their ground game that has propelled the Wolverines to what's now a 24-10 lead over the Hawkeyes. 1:52 to go.
And they'll set up for the PAT.
This game is very
BYU
much...
still has a chance. BYU still has a chance to make the Big 12 title. And looking at the two teams that need things to go BYU's way, it's looking possible that BYU can make it.
BYU currently is the favorite for me. I think BYU, especially with the win over Kansas, they control their own destiny. So of
Next
course,
week, BYU's on bye, and then they have one more conference game at Colorado.
Colorado,
Conference game against Utah.
Colorado's the weakest conference team there, or the weakest team in division, and Utah, an undefeated team. Imagine the catharsis on BYU if they could beat an unbeaten BYU. That might be a potential sight. That might be a potential sight for 2KU's game of the week.
Well, this offense has a long way to be able to get back and potentially win this game, but they're doing
They just need Iowa State and Kansas State to start dropping games, and then from there, BYU could slip in.
BYU in their first season in the Big 12 conference will expand to 16. You get to have a reveal on how the divisions will work, or if there will be divisions. As Iowa gets up to the 50, their first time out of the game, with 1:37 to go. Throw is caught. Another move for a conference that needs teams, the CUSA, reaching to the Sun Belt, grabbing Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. The Blue Raiders and Hilltoppers have consistently been the conversation for the best teams in the Sun Belt, and they're projected to slot in nicely with this new CUSA that's being put together. Though there's plenty more that the conference will need to do in order to keep their standards, as that bounces off the helmet and hits the turf. I would need to check my notes, but
So after the incompletion, it's second down.
right now with that,
Looking to throw yet again.
how will that look for the conference? As there's a big catch at the 20-yard line. Iowa calling another timeout.
Big game. And the offense will wisely spend a timeout after the play. Clock management's going to be very important here in the final minutes.
Because right now, before the move, Liberty, Marshall, Southern Miss, Texas State, UAB, UTEP, UTSA, and Youngstown are the current members. That's a big sack for Michigan, and that might be what they need to win it. UTEP, as well as the other Texas schools, are connected elsewhere. They could potentially look for a new home in a place like the WAC. Meanwhile, the conference now adds 2 more members to get them to 10. So it's likely they might shed 1 or 2 coming up. So Iowa will spike it with 46 seconds to go. I think right now you have to try for end zone, because you don't have a lot of time to waste. And you only have 1 timeout to speak of. You can't go for short plays. And you don't want to be labeled with the clock choker label as you were against Ohio State, or as Michigan even was last year against Stanford. But here comes 4th and 21. Reconnect controller 1 to continue. There you go. This will be the last chance for Iowa. You got to convert a 4th and 21. Or more realistically, you got to score a touchdown here. Throwing it as he's hit. It'll hit the dirt, and that will be it. Michigan, the number 1 team, will stay unbeaten. 24-10 the final. And the Wolverines remain at the peak of Big Ten play. Who will be joining them on the summit will be determined up next. Iowa, falling for their second loss in conference. Though thankfully for the Hawkeyes, the toughest part of their schedule is over. That stretch where they played Iowa, Penn State, and Michigan. And even getting one win in that stretch was admirable. They play their old rival for the Heartland Trophy in Wisconsin. And then they head out to Nebraska. Play their new rival, so to speak. Well, let's get ready now. Up next, Penn State, Ohio State in Happy Valley. I will be back. If you got anything to share with the crowd, let them hear it, Danny.
All right, so as we all know, we are going to be taking place some games right here. We got some great matchups tonight. Next week, it seems like it's going to be almost like another great weekend. Some potential games to look at next weekend includes the matchups like Cincinnati against UCF. Again, they could potentially even determine the Big South. There's also several other games, such as USF still trying to stay unbeaten in conference play, still trying to be in the race. I am liking Penn State to make it through, and you know, it's potential that we could have ourselves a big game here. I can see Penn State wearing classic white. Big game, even. We go to 6-minute quarters here, and then it's all at 8 p.m. The weather there.
All right, we're back. Let's get this game on the road. And game 2 of our doubleheader takes us back to Happy Valley. Well, last year, this Penn State team won a Big Ten championship and played in a natty. This year, Penn State has an uphill battle to try and return to those great heights.
Surprised it's not a whiteout crowd.
We'll see the number 4 team in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
But in their way, in the way of the Penn State Nittany Lions, is Ohio State. In a color rush game. Buckeyes busting out the all-black, meanwhile Penn State wearing their...
All-black?
They are the all-black.
I did not mean for that.
Well, they are. And I guess we're rolling with it.
Alright. Black against white, let's go. Black and red against white and blue.
And in comes Ohio State. We've seen the Buckeyes twice thus far. That's not the last meeting for 2KU. Penn State won the last meeting in the 2KU. Nittany Lions went unbeaten in regular season play last season.
Tackle made after just a short game. Listen to the crowd energy here in the early going. This is a tough environment for visitors. Back to pass. It's Howard.
On play action. Down to the 34-yard line. First down. And now you're seeing why these are rivals.
Let's take notice that we might actually have some FCS moves upcoming soon.
Think about Chris Carter back in the 80s and Joey Galloway in the 90s. And of
force most recently with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba. So many great receivers, and it's been fun to watch this young man today.
We do have 2 more moves relating to the Conference USA. One of which does involve the team moving up for the FBS. We'll get to that now. Youngstown State. The Youngstown State Penguins joining the Horizon League in all sports except football. They'll be a Missouri Valley member in football in 2025. They'll be joining alongside the FCS's Wayne State. The Wayne State Warriors bring a football team to the Detroit Metro. And also expand the Missouri Valley's footprint, bringing the conference further east to compete with the MAC in Ohio and Michigan.
Well, recently announced earlier today in the Discord call that the Boca Raton Bowl and New Mexico Bowl have come to agreement to swap bowl ties.
The American and I believe it's the Southland swapping their bowl appearance to the New Mexico Bowl.
The Southland will be appearing in New Mexico Bowl and the American to the Boca. Makes more sense geographical.
What's up?
The game makes more sense geographical.
Yeah. This is the first time we're seeing Penn State today. And already they're out to the 20-yard line. 1 run at a time. As Maurice Powers, he in the pocket. He has yet to throw a pass thus far, but the Nittany Lion quarterback was a Heisman finalist last season, projected to be a Heisman finalist this season. Played in a national championship, played in Big Ten championship, won a Big Ten championship, played in the Natty.
They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1. That was that excellent linebacker with a clear path just running downhill quickly.
You know, I think one of the great things about watching this guy play
Powers is projected to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft this season. But he declared.
The linebacker to get into the backfield, and the result is a tackle for a loss for the backer.
Throwing it over the middle, first down. And the chains will move.
Good job there finding the back and that angle route. The timing was perfect there.
Yeah, effective third down play to be able to move the chains. I really like the cut there on the route by the running back, getting across the middle of the field. And like you said, the quarterback does a nice job of getting the ball out of his hands quickly to give the back a chance to not only catch the ball.
Did East Carolina win or did Liberty win?
East Carolina did win. There's a big first down run.
That was an error that's on the sheet.
That's good for a first down of the 47.
Boy, great job up front here, getting this first down by this Penn State offense. And great combination over the years that we've seen in State College. The ability to run the football with an offensive line that can get that push.
So right now, Penn State, Ohio State playing for who's in second. Penn State wins, it will be the Lions, then Iowa. And it's the Nittany Lions, then Buckeyes, then Hawkeyes.
What a play here by this defensive line. You can get so caught up in the flashy offense of Ohio State in recent years. But let's not forget, they still play defense in the shoe and have such great history and tradition with that defensive line.
The Buckeyes and Nittany Lions are playing for second right now. A Penn State win would mean Ohio State has to beat Michigan to make the conference championship.
On the shotgun, he's probing the secondary. Caught over the middle. It's Warren. They bring him down. It's a very solid game, but still well short.
Nittany Lions would need Ohio State and Iowa to lose out.
Pick up the first down here, but if you can use the quick passing game to stay ahead of the chains, it definitely helps your offense. And if that defense starts to creep up to take that away, that's when you can take.
When was the last time Ohio played Ohio State?
Challenging spot for the offense. It's third down and long from the 45. Running back has it on the screen now.
Not like I recall off for the 2KU.
Or, I mean, just in real life.
Let me just take a look at that.
And by that measure, when was the last time Penn played Penn State?
The Nittany Lions will have to kick it away. Finally, the first punt of the game, hoping to.
They're going to have to punt in Ohio State territory here. On a 4th and 2, though, Coffin corner it.
Punt will go out of bounds, taking the returner out of play. Here comes the powerful Buckeye offense back onto the field.
Last time Ohio State played against Ohio was back
Let's see
in,
if they can get clicking in this possession.
not including their vacated game back in 2010, 2008.
Brings up second down.
What a hit there by the defender. Tough for the receiver to hold on to the football when he has that kind of contact. Good, clean play by the defense.
2008. When was the last time Penn played Penn State?
Down after the incompletion.
Last time Penn played against Penn State was
Quick throw to the left.
back
Incomplete.
in 1958,
Flag doesn't get it. Brings up third down.
where Penn State beat Penn 43-40.
Good to know.
To be easy here, backed up a long way to go for a first down. And he'll drop back here on third down.
3rd and 10. He's got to run.
Out of the pocket now.
He'll have room to work. Out of bounds.
After a solid gain, more than enough to pick up a first down.
This is just a great job of understanding situational awareness by this quarterback. Nobody's open downfield, so instead he decides to buy a little bit of time by scrambling, gets out of the pocket, and he gets to the sticks and just gets the first down.
Buckeyes with 1st and 10 here. It's a run. Running back's got it.
It's exactly what you want to see as a play caller. You get positive yards to be able to kind of keep you on schedule as a play caller. That's all you can ask for. Good job up front and a nice run.
All right, clock will run out at the end of the 1st quarter. We're still scoreless from Happy Valley.
Far a defensive stalemate here in the early stats illustrating the story.
State College, Pennsylvania. Playing host to a defensive struggle. And some very low quality pom-poms.
The offenses can get going. They didn't do much in the opening quarter.
Quick screen.
Backfield, it's a Buka.
And stopped.
Gain of 3.
Just a short gain on that completion. Well, Kirk, you played in rivalry games. No shortage of inspiration, but how do you manage the emotion of it?
Well, I think you need great leadership from the team. Sometimes teams don't handle the emotions of it. The game can get sideways on you. The teams that play the best in rivalry games are the teams that have the best leaders to keep them focused on the task at hand.
On 3rd and 3, it's caught.
Underneath to the tight end. Brought down to the 40.
It's a gain
Move the sticks.
of enough to move that 1st down marker.
Perfect option for an offense looking to scheme that position.
And that's my arch enemy right there, Brutus Buckeye.
Here for a first down.
It's a lot of Big Ten fans,
The Buckeyes
arch
moving
enemy,
quickly down
including
the
mine.
field. Back now goes in motion. Defense will have to adjust.
As we
With
all
time,
don't
he'll
like.
throw it, but he's hit. Incomplete.
Even on a first down pass.
And what's our enemy up to? Give us a rundown on Ohio State and Penn State's final games here.
It's all about affecting the
Yeah, so
and getting pressure
for
on
Ohio State, they started off the
to him
season
and force that incompletion.
6-0. They beat
Completion makes it second down.
national champion Florida in the swamp.
Looking to chuck it again.
Very impressive. They played against Alabama at home, where they had that magnificent return kick. The first time we ever saw that in 2KU.
First down marker.
There's a court. Then they beat Notre Dame. They traveled to Harvard to 1. Beat Northwestern, beat Iowa. Then last week they lost
Three straight.
on the road at Wisconsin.
Guard here.
They lost in the final 2 minutes after 2 pick sixes.
Moves the ball to the 35. And another
After
first
this
Fumble
game,
recoveries it was.
First down run here by
Yep,
this
2 fumble
running
recoveries,
back. And these are the kind of
After-
situations on third and short.
After this week, they'll host Indiana, host Illinois for the Live Book, and then they go to Michigan.
Nice first down, which is great. New set of downs.
For Penn State on the other side, they started off the season 7-0. Beat Syracuse, beat Pitt, beat Temple, delivered, then they beat Purdue, Indiana, Chicago, then they lost last week against Iowa. The Iowa team who we just saw lost to Michigan.
Defensive looks, but not every defense is the same. They
After this game, they will go to Illinois, host Minnesota for the Victory Bell, and then go to Michigan State for the Land Grant Trophy.
For the 10th play on this drive. To the air. It's
All right. Gonna flip it up there. It's caught for a first down. Now, there are 3 other teams, as I've mentioned, that have an outside chance of making the Big Ten championship. You want to run through those schedules for us, Danny?
Yep. First up, we got Indiana. Indiana, they started the season 5-0. Wins against Virginia, UMass, Indiana State, Illinois, Minnesota. Then they dropped 2 games against Penn State and Michigan. They beat Delaware State, and this week they beat Chicago.
Gonna throw it to the end zone. Dropped.
After this game, they go to Ohio State, host Michigan State for the Spit Platoon.
We'll press platoon.
And then they go to Purdue for their trophy.
Old Oaken Bucket.
Next up, we got Michigan State. They started off the season 5-0 with...
There's a touchdown, Ohio State.
First score of the game.
Pick up where you left off.
Yep, they played against Army, at the time a really good LSU, Kansas State, who was in the running for the Big 12. They go to Chicago, then they drop 2 games against Michigan and at Notre Dame. They recovered 2 games afterward in the game at Minnesota and versus Purdue. They are on bye week this week, but afterwards they host Wisconsin, go to Indiana State, and then host Penn State. And finally, we got Wisconsin. They first start off the season rocky with a loss in Ireland against Pitt. Then afterward, they came back and they beat Southern Illinois, Nebraska, and Colorado State. They beat Purdue, Chicago, then they dropped another game against Northwestern in Camp Randall. And when it all looked down, they then hosted Ohio State and beat them, putting them back in the running. And keeps them in the running is this win against Notre Dame. Afterward, they'll host Michigan State, they'll go to Michigan State, host Iowa, and then go to Minnesota.
And those are your 3 teams still in the running. Right now, of those three teams, the one I have the most confidence in a potential run would be Indiana. I do like though I could very much see a case for Wisconsin, certainly, to return. Wisconsin won the Rose Bowl last season, made the Big Ten championship.
Looking to pick up the first down through the air. And that pass is hauled in over the middle. Moves the ball to the 37 for a first down.
What a clutch play here by this offense.
But really, the Big Ten race is the most entertaining one in the nation, one would think. And in a time where all the races are becoming more clear, the Big Ten is still as open as you can get, with only 3 games left to play.
So we reach the 2-minute warnings. This offense tries to take the lead here before halftime.
Well, another short game for this offense on the ground, and you got to give a lot of credit to the defense. They have really negated that aspect of this offense the entire first half and really making them one-dimensional. And if that doesn't change, I don't know how they get back into this game.
1 second and 8, there's a fumble, and Ohio State recovers.
Defense recovers the fumble. It's a turnover.
I think that's on the quarterback and the offensive line. They were breathing down this quarterback's neck before he could even recognize that they were there, and they were able to knock it loose.
And that's huge. They'll get a new set of downs, and they'll start their drive within the Penn State red zone. And it'll take them 1 play to get within the goal line and 1 play to score. Touchdown, Buckeyes.
Touchdown, Ohio State. This quarterback on fire today. Well, no surprise for offense this good. Short field, quick touchdown.
Yeah, you get into the red zone, though, there's a tendency to want to get conservative. I love that the offensive coordinator and the quarterback kept attacking until they came away with 7 points.
There's only so much you can keep attacking when you've only been on 1 play.
Kicking team out for the PAT try. With the extra
There's a
point,
flag.
on the play.
is 14. Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
Roughing the kicker.
Pretty easy call for the
Not gonna matter,
Will
but
accept that penalty, of course. Kickoff team on the
oh, they will move the kickoff. Kicking it from the 50, and it's good.
Won't be returnable out of the back.
Unfortunately, you can't score on a kickoff return. I think you should be able to.
That'd be fun, even just 1 point.
Make that the CFL Rouge thing.
Fires it to the wideout. He's got it for a big gain. That'll be enough for a first down, brought down at the 43.
I understand the concept of bringing the blitz, and you hope that it gets home. But if you don't, you leave your corner in man-to-man situation against this wide receiver. That is a tough ask for this corner, and he's going to lose that battle more often than not.
Here comes a first down pass attempt.
On 1st and 10, collision is caught at midfield. Timeout.
Timeout is called to talk strategy late in this close game with halftime approaching.
It is midfield. It's hard to tell.
Second down.
Right on the mid.
Looking downfield.
Hard to tell here at Beaver Stadium.
Short throw to the sideline.
Caught
First out after
on the sideline, going to be short
the runners
of the
scoots
first
back
down.
after gaining some decent yardage.
It's 3rd and 1.
Come up on third down. Solid drive. Defense trying to get off the field here.
Penn State late in the first half on the ropes.
Looking to throw it again.
Quick throw is caught
Down the middle. It's
for a first down.
Stop at the 43. This offense picks up another first down.
Well, it's 3rd down. The defense knows he's going to get the ball. You still can't stop the quarterback finding this receiver to be able to pick up another first down for this offense.
They move this
They'll hurry it up.
to the line here on
Minute to
first
go.
down now. From the shotgun, drops back.
Time, he'll throw it to the end zone.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Penn State.
Touchdown, Nittany Lions.
Hail Mary in the end.
That kind of play is almost impossible to defend when the quarterback is throwing the ball.
That rejuvenates the crowd.
And we're back. All thanks to a guy named Denmark.
So maybe this is a great start for this combination, this quarterback and receiver for a big
Love
day.
Denmark.
We love our Danish viewers here.
Shout out to anyone from Denmark.
I'll shout out my buddies also.
Point after attempt.
You may know them from some of my YouTube streams. Shouts to my buddies Funky, Rose, Sergeant, or not Sergeant, but Funky, Rose, Lemur, and the gang who are in Dallas right now for a Sonic Expo.
Here's the kickoff, and we'll see if the opposing offense has time.
Shout outs from the 2KU in Happy Valley.
And he'll bring it out from inside the 10. And he's tackled at the 21. That's where the drive
Now Ohio State will get another chance to get to the end zone
comes back onto the field.
from their own 21.
Pleased with their performance here in the first half. Let's see if they just play it cautious and get to the break.
Throwing it up there. Breaks a tackle. He's got room to work. And then some past the 50-yard line.
For a big gain, this offense set up with a first down.
Well, it's one thing to hear about how fast this receiver is in the scouting report. You look at him on film all week. The defense coordinator tells you, get ready, this guy...
And the void, the deep dark void approves.
This guy can fly. You see it again here. Nice catch.
This line getting set
Brings
up.
back memories of last season where he had the maroon corner.
Back to pass.
Yeah.
It's Howard.
It's very scary here. And they're going to score right back.
Caught for a huge gain here. They could not stop him. He's in. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Aren't you taught on defense, Kirk? Don't let him throw the football over your head. Exactly what happened there.
That makes me really wonder if it was some kind of miscommunication. If I'm the defensive coordinator, I pull my defensive backs over, make sure everybody's on the same page and getting the right call.
And just as they were pulling close, Ohio State pulls away. That might deflate you if you're a Penn State fan. But you shouldn't let it. You have 2 timeouts, 40 seconds to go, and you get the ball in the second half. It'll be a 21-7 ball game. Ohio State with 14-point lead.
some momentum before halftime with the touchdown. Now they kick off in hopes the defense.
Now, can Penn State respond in the next 42 seconds?
From inside the 5. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. And the Nittany Lions offense retakes the field. They've got a choice here in the final minute. Do they get aggressive, try to cut into this lead?
Oh, he's going to get sacked immediately.
Ah,
And they'll have to call their first time out. Second time out, rather.
I mean, that's another sack, Chris. I mean, we're just getting started here.
And you've got the whole of Beaver Stadium laughing.
Up 3 sacks. Got to think about changing things up schematically. Help that offense.
Gonna flip it out. Has the man open. The tackler didn't have the angle. And another one doesn't have the angle. Can he get there? He's brought down at the 5.
Down at the 5, solid gain on that catch and run.
Boy, huge play by this offense. A good throw, nice.
And you think you've got to call a timeout here.
Run after the catch that really impresses me. And early in this game, you got to think they're going to continue to go back.
I think maybe they want to draw the clock so Ohio doesn't have a chance to respond.
But
If
you're
the
not
rest
going
of
to
the
have a
team can
chance
get
to
there.
line up. And they will call a timeout.
Just a few seconds left here in the first half.
With 4 seconds to go in the half, will they kick a field goal?
So on first
They
down,
will.
the field goal unit will come out there trying to get 3 points before the half.
From a bit of an awkward angle, can they get it through?
And he knocks
And
Yes.
Good.
Well, they almost put a touchdown on the board, but instead.
Penn State, known for their great kickers. And this guy, no exception.
So here's the kickoff now. Offense settling for 3, tacking on a little bit of momentum before the halftime break.
This is Deontay Jones-Evans, returner of the year.
Brings him down as the clock runs out in the first half of play. And that will do it for the
DJE will only get a few yards.
Connors now has our halftime update.
But at halftime, Ohio State leading the game 21-10.
That comes with a good old-fashioned rivalry game on display in that first half. Each of these two offenses has looked like well-oiled machines.
As we've seen these big plays going back and forth. Here's Penn State's big bomb.
Circles around these defenses.
This is what got them in the field goal range.
Nothing seems to be working, and I'm not sure that defensive coordinator is going to be able to figure things out here at halftime.
To end the half, here's another one.
Get back to the field, and our guys in the booth to see who
This one kept Penn State in it.
rivalry contest.
It's gone back and forth. Ohio State will kick off to the Nittany Lions to start the second half.
We'll kick this away to begin the second half. They're returning from inside the 10-yard
10.
line.
And to the 21-yard line, Penn State
And the Penn State offense comes back on the field.
trying to claw their way back into this one. No pun intended. No pen intended.
First play of the second half, they keep it on the ground.
Hand it off for a single yard.
The Nittany Lions hustle to the line to run the hurry up. And the back now goes in motion to the air. It's Aller.
2nd and 9.
Receiver makes the catch.
Brought down at the 30. He'll be a yard short.
Picks up some decent yardage.
Love the timing here between the quarterback and his receiver. Pick up some positive yards, and I continue to be impressed with just the chemistry between these two.
The defense with pre-snap movement.
Meanwhile, in real life, the Auburn-Houston game is still in big question marks.
Here down multiple scores. Quick throw caught on the left side.
First down.
Out at the 42, gets a
Auburn and Houston are playing right now?
They were supposed to be playing. I don't know if you heard about the drama that happened.
I have not. What's happening?
That earlier today, Auburn was on a flight to Houston, but then the plane had to turn back because 2 Auburn players were fighting on the plane.
Oh, dear.
And he drops back in the gun.
And they're supposed to be playing against Houston right now in Houston. So I don't know if they made it yet or what's gonna happen with the game, but
The receiver broke down his defender on that curl against man.
I do know what's coming up is the Holy War.
And the Nittany Lions
BYU,
pick up
Utah.
enough for a first down here. They're going to run it here.
Big run up the side for a first down.
Moves the ball to the 34.
Well, anytime you're down at halftime, you get your minds together, you try to make some adjustments, you try to get things heading in a better direction.
meanwhile, in real life, 2 top 3 teams fell.
I saw Georgia lost, right?
No huddle now for the offense.
Yep.
Who else lost?
Miami.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did see that. Miami lost to Georgia Tech.
First down, they go right back to
The best team in the ACC was, and always will be SMU.
Let's go SMU. And Army still undefeated. And so is Indiana.
That's awesome.
A little fun stat I learned about real life. In the last 3 seasons, Indiana went 9-27. They're 10-0 now.
back to throw. It's Aller.
That
Looking,
is a
has man open.
certified moment.
Over the back, an easy completion. They bring him down, but not before he gains first down yardage.
Well, it's so easy to get caught up in the receivers and the quarterback, and your eyes get lost. You forget about
You know, I'm glad to see the SEC self-destructing this season.
The Nittany Lions
Yeah.
It's about time they had a taste of playing normal football.
Your Missouri is losing
Re-
to Oklahoma.
Remember,
LSU.
as the Pac-12 taught us, you're not on top forever.
grabbed behind the line.
Yeah.
Singleton. Defense drops him for
Now
a
soon
loss.
to be the Pac-7, well, Pac-8 and all the other sports. Bad football.
The new Pac Shakur.
And that play just never seemed to have much of a chance at all.
And the eighth
The
play
8
of this
packs.
drive coming up. Fakes the handoff here, looking to throw it.
Also tonight in the FCS, UC Davis, Montana.
Linebacker. Physical tackle there, big versus big.
An actually really good FCS matchup.
They're backed up here, trying to make something happen on 3rd and long. Back to throw again. Defense is
On 3rd and 7, he's going to be sacked.
sack. The senior on this defense making a big play.
Finally, the defense is able to come up with a play on this drive. Let's face it, this offense has been able to put things together. Quarterback's had a nice drive, but finally, great job of getting the pressure and getting after that quarterback.
So the decision is to not go for it, but settle for
They'll try for another field goal here.
He was successful.
This one harder than the last one.
This attempt is from
Kicks on the way,
yards away.
and he got
That's
it.
good.
Down the middle.
And Penn State now with an 8.
So after coming away with 3 in that drive, the kickoff team is out. Return
The
starts
Nittany
at
Lions need a big stop here.
And he's tackled at the 21. That's where the drive will start. Okay, here comes the Ohio State offense back on the field.
Sure, there was a storm fielding in real life Ole Miss game.
Let's see if this defense
Or in
is
2KU,
Certainly.
2KU Ole Miss game.
In real life also, probably.
over the middle.
Yeah. Oh no, there was in real life. Just in 2KU, they beat ranked
Beat 'em.
Tennessee.
Matchups
Yeah.
always has been and it always will be, especially on the perimeter. And the quarterback believes his guy is better than their guy.
And completion makes it 2nd and short. And the ball is handed off out of the shotgun. Makes the catch for the defense. Breaks in the ball.
In 2KU history, Ole Miss was once like a real contender relatively recently in the SEC. This was like a stretch from 2005 to 2014.
So ball at the
They have a national championship.
What happened?
third down play.
They have BCS championship back in 2008. another SEC championship back in 2013.
The Buckeyes pick up enough yards to move the sticks.
How impressive these guys been up front today. Big third down, know what you need to do, get the first down, continue to hold on to that lead, continue to work clock, and get that much closer to securing a victory.
First down here for this offense.
First and 10 from the 33-yard line. They get the snap off. This will be the last play of the quarter. A gain of about 1, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. After 3, Ohio State leads 21-13. Look at the possession of Penn State, dominant in possession, but they're still trailing.
We're set now for the fourth quarter. Who is going to make the crucial plays to take home this W?
Penn State's looking for a stop.
Looking to throw. It's Howard.
The pressure's coming. A screen play. Has room around the corner, past the 50. First down into Penn State territory.
Well, this is great execution here on this screenplay to the running back to pick up big yards and a first down. And I think in the process, Chris, they sent a message to the defense. You can rush our quarterback all you want, but when you do, you better be careful because we're going to throw the screen on you.
I'm going under the knife on Tuesday. I have to go get dental surgery Tuesday afternoon.
The gain is 4, so it's 2nd and 6.
My hope is that I should be ready to go for that Saturday's stream.
This is the 6th play on the drive. Off the play fake.
And we hope you get a good recovery, Joey.
Gonna air it out. Incomplete.
Oh, and he almost had it. A chance for a momentum-changing interception. Does bring up 3rd down.
Pretty nice catch here, but a missed opportunity for an interception. Let's face it.
I gotta get a tooth or two pulled. That's probably about as fun as pulling teeth.
Sometimes a little questionable, as we saw here.
On 3rd and 6.
Needing a 3rd down completion.
Gonna air it. Low catch.
First down.
Blown tackle inside the 5.
The 4. Great catch and run.
Well, this quarterback is unflappable. Here they are working with the lead in the second half. Get to a 3rd down. You got to throw the football. This is where you trust the quarterback to make a good decision, an accurate throw. He does it. You convert, and you keep working that clock.
So it's 1st and goal. The offense will try to milk the clock and add points if they can.
On 1st and goal, the quarterback will keep it himself. It's a touchdown, Buckeyes.
Ohio State. The momentum really building now. This one could get out of hand here in a hurry.
And that's the last thing you want to do in a rivalry game. Not just lose the game, but get embarrassed. Man, you got to fight for 60 minutes.
Now, if I know this rivalry, this game is certainly not over yet. If it's not over, we'll make it not over.
So they'll try to add to the lead now with a PAT.
One way or another, this game is going to be not over yet.
An extra point makes the lead.
Give me the word.
Here in the final quarter. Kickoff team has come on the field now to send this one away. Fields it inside the 5-yard line. He'll be tackled at the 18.
Brought down to the 18. Penn State's coming back on the field after their last drive stalled.
Difficult to win games kicking field goals. To cut into this lead, they got to find the end zone. And he dumps it off to the tight end.
Hey, it's a nice way to start this drive off, but they've got a long way to go to be able to get this ball in the end zone. Then they got to get the ball back and score again. So positive yards, but doing it quickly is key.
That completion makes it 2nd and medium. Dropping back, it's Allen. And he's going to throw.
Gonna air it deep. Big play. Are they gonna catch him? No. Touchdown, Nittany Lions.
Penn State, strong game by this quarterback.
And crank out the Zombie Nation.
Great play call. Just
On the D bomb.
And now they'll set up for the point after.
And the kick is up and good. It's now an 8-point game. .404 remaining in the fourth quarter. Ohio State with an 8-point lead.
Take it away. And he'll bring it out from inside the 10. Tackled at the 22. Good job by the coverage team.
And for everyone, please join the Discord.
Don't forget to join the Discord, yeah.
Tighter. They love to
We got some
Now is that
exclusive
on the-
games.
on the clock.
Now that on the Discord will be an exclusive link to a live stream I'll be hosting tomorrow.
Tackle quickly
Yeah.
after the catch. He'll be short of the marker.
Where can chat does make a college football team in CFP 25?
Back behind the quarterback, aligned in a pistol.
I'll be there. It's for a university project, right?
Handoff as they try to
Yes.
run up the clock here.
I don't think. Do your university people know who I am?
Positive yards are always important for
No.
offense. At this stage of the game,
Well, they'll learn.
playing with the lead, you're thinking about working that clock and continuing.
They'll learn about the 2KU. And who knows, maybe this team could join
Third down
the 2KU in Division 3 or something.
Maybe join 2KU Weekly as well.
Can he get there on the
D3, D2, and D1 playoffs are on the, or D1 FCS playoffs
Boy, Chris, you
are coming soon.
understate how big of a conversion this was to be able to pick this up on the ground. Yeah, the offense still has the lead, but you can just feel the defense having all the momentum with the points they've been able to compile. And that run right there picks up a first down and can kind of settle things down a bit.
option look. It's Howard.
And he's stopped.
2-yard gain. 2nd and 8 coming up.
They're gonna let the 2 minutes start.
Your quarterback is a runner. The goal is obviously to hit some big plays. You gotta be careful of letting your quarterback take too many big hits. Not only can he get tired, he can also start to fumble the football.
2nd down play coming up for this offense. There's the handoff. And the sophomore able to bring him down quickly. Now a timeout.
2nd and 8 timeout.
Defense trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. Big 3rd down play. If they can't get the stop, they have
3rd and 6.
calling a timeout. And they'll run
And
it.
Ohio State get the, or Penn State get the stop they need. They will.
Stops him short of the marker, so it's 4th down coming up. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized.
With only a minute 50 left. They only have one timeout.
Going to kick it away for the 2nd time.
I'm thinking if Penn State stalls here, that we step in.
Catch by the return man. 1st down play call coming up. How aggressive will it be? Back to throw. It's Allen. Heavy pressure. He
Gets rid of it in time. It's incomplete.
Incomplete. He was hit as he threw. Good pass rush there on 1st down.
Hey, really good call here by the defense.
The incomplete
coordinator
stops the
working with
clock.
lead in the 4th quarter. Get 6 defensive backs with that dime look.
This point,
Cover
clock
as much
management's the
ground as you can,
biggest
have
part.
As much speed as you can. I think the quarterback may have been confused there and just threw the ball away.
After the incompletion, keep
Gonna
it
air it deep.
2nd and 10.
Another big
He's got
play.
one open.
This might tie it. Can they catch him? No. Touchdown again.
Down.
Touchdown, Nittany Lions. This quarterback
And it's crunch time in Happy Valley.
Executing under
They have to go to 2 to tie it.
and they put 6 points on the board, and now you're a 2-pointer away. Will they be able to get it
Can they make the 2-point conversion?
on the line now?
If they don't make the 2-pointer, I want to see this game.
Into overtime.
I want to see Penn State try and win it with a field goal. See if they can recover the onside.
But do I have to remind people about the Alabama game? Alabama came back, getting the 2-point conversion to tie it, and then Ohio State returned it. Can we see a similar situation like this?
So obviously down to
And they will go for 2.
2-point conversion to try to tie the score. Here's the snap.
Pressure coming, he'll throw it.
Got it.
Got it! I thought he dropped it, but he hung on.
That's the game here in the late stages.
Good effort.
Here's the kickoff team now, set to boot this one away. He's going to return it from near the goal line. And he's tackled at the 21. That's where the drive will start.
Well, no game-winning kickoff return, but Ohio State will have a minute 33 to do with the ball as they please, as well as 3 timeouts.
Get some points out of this possession.
Gonna air it deep, and there's another big play. Can they catch him? To the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Buckeyes.
Buckeyes. And they claim the lead here in the final quarter.
That is just an outstanding job by this quarterback.
Penn State needs to respond.
He finds the matchup with his go-to receiver, makes a perfect throw here to the receiver, and they scored late to take the lead.
And Ohio State doesn't care about your what-ifs. They're gonna throw bombs all day.
And this is why it's a rivalry game.
You can see Brutus popping off on the sideline there. Pardon me.
It's
So they'll try to add to the
so
lead.
exciting, it gets the gas out.
I guess so. Up and good. This game is a 7-point affair. And there's another guy wearing a skin-colored shirt. This time for Penn State.
Just outside the goal line. And he's tackled at the 21.
All right,
Kickoff return.
there's a minute 21 to go. Penn State with only 1 timeout.
Comes down to this. They need a touchdown. They've got some
Again, I think we step in if this drive stalls.
aggressive will they be? There's a screen pass to the running back. And the tackle is made. The screen pass there produces a solid gain.
Screen plays are
You don't have a lot of time to work with.
can get to the quarterback, and it also can be covered. Many times, quarterback just throws it away. Here, they get some positive yards.
In less than a minute.
Line and get set. Looking to throw. It's Aller.
Gonna air it, almost intercepted.
Broken up by the defender nicely that time.
At this point in the game, obvious situations, you're going to throw the football. I like the call by the defensive coordinator. Went with dime. 6 defensive backs, get them as much speed on the field as you can. May have confused the quarterback there a little bit and led to that incompletion.
We've got to get points quickly here. Looking for explosive plays right now.
On 3rd down and 1. There's that explosive
man.
play you're looking for, Chris.
Big catch down
To the 10-5
10,
touchdown.
touchdown. Penn State. Still no answer for this offensive machine.
What a
It's just been laser after laser in this one.
conventional wisdom says you
I think we have seen more points in this 2 minutes than the
this game to open
many previous games combined.
to try to take the lead.
The offenses are coming out to shine in the 4th quarter. And Penn State will tie this all-timer with a field goal here.
And now the crucial try for the extra point.
But can Penn State stop the Buckeyes?
The PAT is up and good, and we are all tied here in the final quarter.
Ohio State with 3 timeouts. A field goal will win it.
The kickoff team on the field now as they get set to send this one away. They'll return it from inside the 5.
He's got 1 taken to the house so far.
At the 22, that's pretty solid.
Get to the 22.
Here comes
It'll be enough for Ohio State to start.
How do you play this now? Do you call a conservative play and just wait for overtime, or try to
Penn State saving their final timeout.
regulation? Short throw complete,
Likely to try and ice the kicker.
and a timeout is called late in this tie game.
31 seconds.
Coming up.
think we went through someone's head.
Dropping back. It's Howard. That pass is caught.
And there's your second timeout for Ohio State.
27 seconds remaining.
We've gone through heads before. It's nothing that we can't handle.
Second down now.
We're tough. We can make it through. 27 seconds to go. 2nd and 3.
Offense looking to throw.
Gonna air it out. Blow
It's gonna
coverage.
open.
Ohio State's gonna blow this game wide open.
Touchdown, Ohio State. They have jumped in front in the final minute.
Chris, I thought we might be headed to overtime here, but this offense could not be denied. Outstanding execution, and they take the lead. Now it's all about can their defense hold on to see if they can get this win.
Look at how wide open he gets. You see those two defenders pinch into each other. They both got nowhere to go. That opens up a huge pocket for the receiver. And he just takes it all the way. I think that was just simply a Penn State communication error.
See if they can convert the point after.
With 21 seconds.
PAT is up and
Point after is up and good. Penn State needs a touchdown of their own to get back in this.
So after taking the lead, they'll kick it away here and hope their defense can make a stop on this final drive. And here's the return from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 9.
We have 18 seconds and 1 timeout.
They'll get set, needing to score quickly now, looking for some.
Seeing at least he's gonna score, but then like 1 or 2 plays.
On 1st and 10, looking to throw.
They won't have a lot of chances to do it.
Grab down the middle. It's single.
I don't
And
know the
there's
play
that
call
final
there.
timeout.
Taken by the offense to stop the clock with 12 seconds remaining. They need to score quickly here. Trying to dive
12 seconds. Look at those guys bunched up on the left side.
Quarterback looking to throw it on 2nd down.
Trying to find some open time. We'll just get rid of it.
And he just throws it away there. Safe move. Had nobody open.
Smart decision here by the defensive coordinator to go with time.
Let me close the door in case something happens.
Extra defensive backs. Because of that, really not many places to throw the football for this quarterback.
We've seen
Offense needs
some all-time finishes this year. Do we have another one in us?
plays. Let's see what they got called. Looking to pass. It's Allen.
To stay
It's the
alive.
final play.
Gonna heave it deep. The Heisman finalist.
Last gasp.
No.
Broken up.
Ohio State's won it.
Ohio State wins another classic. 42-35 from Happy Valley. And all eyes are on the game. Ohio State's next game is Indiana. This will now bring a lot more attention to that. But what about a back and forth affair between two all-time rivals? And that
We
will
need
be
to
your
go in and adjust the sheets for the tiebreakers now.
and that will be your top 4. I believe Ohio State is now second on tiebreakers. I think
Actually, it would be Wisconsin because reminder of this: Wisconsin beat Ohio State.
Wisconsin
and then
did
there's a
beat.
big question of Iowa.
Iowa has a win over Ohio State, or a win over Penn State, but lost to Ohio State.
So it seems they might be Wisconsin, Ohio State, Iowa, and then Penn State right underneath.
Indiana could make things extremely difficult if they were to beat Ohio State next week. Penn State's next game, I believe, is
Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois. Penn State's Illinois. They have Minnesota and Michigan State to wrap out. Ohio State ends their season with Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. Iowa only has 2 more games, Wisconsin and Nebraska. Michigan wraps with, I want to say it was Northwestern and Ohio State. And Wisconsin, of course, has Iowa and Minnesota left on their docket. It's all coming down to the wire here, folks. The Big Ten is as close as it'll ever be. That's going to do it for us today. For this episode of the 2KU. My mouse is not on screen. There it is. Thank you all so much for watching. And so long from the 2KU.